It's Tuesday, and for weeks now in Nigeria, the headlines have been heavy with stories of kidnappings, attacks, communities living with fear, and a growing sense that nowhere feels truly safe. Now, insecurity has become the thread running through our national conversation, shaping how people move, how they work, and how they hope. So for many Nigerians, insecurity is no longer a distant headline. It is a daily reality. Our families are grieving, communities are on edge, and every day, someone somewhere is praying that their loved ones return home safely. Now, our conversation today will look at the forces driving these abductions and attacks and the choices the leaders must make to protect its citizens.
But before that, things are happening in Lagos, and I just have to say, Lolo, I'm so sorry.
Things are happening in Lagos,
sorry.
And I don't think this is the ideal time for the things that are happening, and that is this unbelievable traffic. We left Aja about 6, and I got to the office about maybe 10 minutes to 10 minutes to 10. And I can assure you what we saw on the road was today is going to be very difficult for a lot of people, because people were coming down from their buses, coming down from their cars. They were literally trekking. And I thought the government said that they were just going to still stay on their axis and do it upward. But Tolu, they are breaking the road up to Agungi. So you can imagine the stretch of road that has been reduced to a single lane. And it's supposed to still take the amount of traffic, the amount of cars that would ply that road on a daily basis. So tell me, what's going to happen to people who have offices to get to? So what time are you supposed to wake up or leave your homes?
When we had this conversation recently, and there was a lot of fear when the government announced the plans to start the road work and rehabilitation, and everybody was telling them, you know, you have Christmas coming, you're expecting an influx of people. Did they not come out and tell us that they were holding it? So I was quite surprised when Joe Hansen, one of the anchors for Breakfast Show, put it in the group. Do you know what time
this is?
Put it in the group that they have started
the 5 o'clock hour
already.
If the roads are like this at 5 o'clock, Tony, you can't imagine what we have to go through. All the way from Aja till Agungi. If you are very familiar with that stretch of road, you will know that is, I don't even know how many kilometers of road we have to say that is. And I don't know why they're doing everything now. And you know what is bad? They're going to rush the work.
Yes, that's
They're going to do a shoddy job.
Yeah.
They will not have time to be able to set, you know, the road.
And
because even the ones they poured tires today, people are to ply it today.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen to the road that they're spending millions and billions
to redo it next year?
They will have to redo it again, and we have to still go through the hardship. Yeah. Is it not better that they start it, do it, and Tolu, they are supposed to be working night and day.
Are they working night and day?
I don't think so.
So, you know, I've seen night work in Lagos, I'll say that, and I've seen it also
but on this one, I don't know if they're working.
But I don't know if they're doing it night and day.
Shifts.
But even doing night and day doesn't matter. Who decides when? You're doing this end of year when you're expecting an influx. The same government that wants to make money from Dirty December is going to use its hand to spoil Dirty December. Airbnbs and hotels in that area are literally fully booked out. So when people are coming in and they have this experience and then they leave, do you think they're going to come back? Do you think you're going to have them on social media talking about having so much fun when it might take them 4 hours to get to VI for a concert, 4 hours to get to Lekki for something else?
Yeah.
You're ruining the experience. And we're not saying that experiences should supersede the need to fix the road. Yeah. But that road has been in a state of disrepair for a long time. You could have been doing remedial work. You could have been doing small work that would not need you to do this massive work now.
Even as of September, when I went to the Palms there, the road was still being fixed. So what happened? Why didn't they finish it? Like,
it's forever job. I'm even saying that they can take it in tranches. They can do this expanse of road. If you see Aja now, they've even taken away the roundabout again. They've taken out the traffic lights. Remember, we started from that big roundabout that was there. They took the fish out, took out the roundabout. Now they've even taken out the traffic lights, and it's just chaos, upon chaos.
Where's last month?
LASMA, I saw a lot of LASMA presence on the roads. At least I saw them heavy from, let's say, Chevron upward. I saw a lot.
So
of
what happens to the people who are coming from behind Chevron?
I don't know. I didn't see a lot of LASMA people around Aja area, and we don't even take Aja. We have to take inside the road. The driver takes into Okun to bust out at Aja under bridge. Then turn around on that bridge
and then start facing
forward.
Mm-hmm.
What can LASMA really do? Because Nigerians are actually known to be very impatient as well.
So it's not for you to put one LASMA person at a junction, at a major junction. It's for you to coordinate their efforts. Make sure there are 4 to 5 LASMA people at each junction. And somebody is facing each side of the road so that they're blocking. By the time you put only 1 or 2, Nigerians were really, we're badly behaved. They'll crush to get out of the way and move. So you have to flood that place with LASMA.
I've been hearing about this traffic even before I moved to Lagos. And since I came to Lagos, that's the major reason why so many Northerners do not want to come to Lagos. And even when I came to Lagos, we have been talking about it every time.
So it makes you wonder that has nobody studied the traffic in Lagos? You cannot tell me that the traffic in Lagos is as bad as the ones we've seen sometimes in China or India.
Exactly.
People study these things. People study these things and they give you ways in which you can increase your traffic flow. They tell you about changing the timing of the traffic lights at certain times of day. A traffic light should not be at the same time in an area like that, same duration all day long. Because different times of day have different levels of traffic.
You know that with that coastal road, I
was going to come there.
I know it sounds funny. I know people can say, Lolo, you're being extreme. I don't even mind paying legal toll to be able to pass. Because even if they say they're not taking toll on the road, the area boys, the workers on the road, they're already taxing the people.
I'm so
and
sorry,
that's if they allow you. There are sometimes you get there, you're even willing to pay, but they are just not in the mood.
Lola, but even with the amount that is being spent to fix these roads, I believe that they would have been able to be technologically advanced, because in China, if there's too much traffic, there's a way the road moves and gives you
access.
Do you understand?
Do you have lights to be able to move?
Don't go too far. You don't need to move the road. They look and they say, okay, where else can we open up to decongest the flow? It is something you can see.
Look at that side.
You can see it.
Yes, that side that we always pass through the back around Chevron.
Yeah.
All they have to do is just
widen that road and fix it,
so that people can have a couple of.
And so people can also go on the road quickly. Not that you have to maneuver around bumps. Not that you have to maneuver around big potholes. Potholes that claim tires. I lost my tire.
That time I moved back to the mainland. This is just looking like it, because if you keep staying in that one, your blood pressure will go up. Do you know that I ate only once yesterday? Even at the time I left the office, by the time I got home, I was so tired.
There's a tiredness, yes.
I just went to bed. I didn't have dinner. I just slept. And you wake up every day. You do this
doing
on
that
a daily
again.
day. I don't envy drivers, because even if you can take a nap while
they can't take a nap because they're driving.
Exactly.
They have to keep pushing. Do you know how many cars will be destroyed in this?
Yes. Scratches, bumps.
Your car will overheat.
Wow.
Lagos State government, we need to do better. We understand that we are doing everything to make Lagos better. But is it wise at this time to be doing all these things together at the same time? It makes the lives of Lagosians hell.
And just pray that it does not rain. Rain compound. It rained yesterday here. It didn't rain towards earlier. So imagine, because remember the last rain that caused the traffic. See, I remember the Independence Bridge traffic. I remember the rain traffic one night that we had staff on the road for 9 hours. I remember your son was with us there that had to trek from Ikoyi to work. So we have these things in our memory, but we're asking that Lagos State, there has to be a better way to do all of this.
Let's hope they actually listen to you, because most of them, if there's traffic, they just, hop in their helicopters.
How many of them have helicopters? How many of them have helicopters?
They don't live in that.
We need to go on a timeout now, because we have a very, very important conversation that is coming up after the break. Cheta Nwanze, partner at SBM Intelligence, joins us as we look at patterns of violence, rethinking Nigeria's response to insecurity. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Jasiri. Today we're examining one of the most difficult and defining issues Nigeria continues to grapple with, and that is insecurity. It is a crisis that has not only shaken our present, but is actively reshaping our past and threatening our near future. Over the past decades, the patterns have become impossible to ignore. We have banditry, kidnappings, communal clashes, rising urban crime, and a security system that is stretched beyond its limits. Millions of Nigerians have been displaced by conflict and violence, forcing entire communities to rebuild their lives under unimaginable pressure. The ripple effects are everywhere. It shows up in our economy, our sense of safety, and the quiet fear that families now live with. And in more recent weeks, we have seen a disturbing resurgence of mass abductions of school children, travelers, and ordinary citizens, not just parts of the North, but across the entire country. These incidents are not isolated. They reflect deeper patterns of violence, systemic failures, and long-standing gaps in how Nigeria responds to threats.
And that's why we're looking at patterns of violence, rethinking Nigeria's response to insecurity. Because what we're seeing is not random. It is the product of trends, networks, incentives, and weaknesses that have evolved. And unless we understand the patterns clearly, we cannot disrupt them. Joining us to help unpack this crisis and to guide us through what a more effective modern response should look like is someone who has been at the forefront of analyzing Nigeria's security landscape with rigor and insights. He's actually been called a prophet of doom. He's that bad. But joining us now, once again in the studio, we have with us Cheta Nwanze. He's partner at SBM Intelligence, one of Nigeria's leading geopolitical and socioeconomic research companies. Cheta, welcome back to Jasiri. Not in the best circumstances, but it's always good to have you.
Well, the circumstances are ever good.
You see, that's why they call you prophet of doom. I was even trying to just it's all right. It's all right. You're sharp back, right?
It is what it is.
It is. Let's get started.
Cheta, you've been speaking on insecurity, as way back as 2014, if not even, longer. We want to start by trying to understand the landscape. That's the patterns behind the surge in kidnappings, attacks, and also community violence. What does the data actually show, and what are we getting wrong about the nature of this insecurity? From SBM tracking, what are the major patterns driving the rise of kidnappings and attacks in Nigeria now?
Okay, so I think you've asked an extremely complicated question that does not have a single answer, but based on the format we're on, requires almost a single answer. And the answer in this case would be impunity.
You can wrap everything up under the umbrella of impunity.
So consider this. You and Tolu are quarreling. Tolu tries to do everything by the law. She goes to reports to police, takes you to courts, and all of that, and then you people end up in courts for the next 600 years. And the case never gets a resolution. You, on the other hand, you just walk out to the nearest Agberu. And then he comes and he slaps one tooth out of Tolu's mouth. And it solves the problem for you. What do you think Tolu will do next time she has a problem?
We'll go there.
I'll find my own Agberu.
Find her own tout.
So that is the bottom line of Nigeria's insecurity crisis. So consider this. Today is today is Tuesday. Sorry, sometimes the days get blurred. So exactly 3 weeks and a day ago, the Brigadier General of the Nigerian Army was executed by militants.
On camera.
Militants or insurgents or whatever you want to call them.
Or bandits.
Terrorists. Nothing has happened. That guarantees another kind of attack. Consider this. Shortly after that, again, in that same week, 2 schools were raided, and students and their teachers were frog marched into the forest. In that same week, there was an attack on a church, which we all saw, live streamed. And then there were announcements that people had been released. But when you release, or that people had, no, the word was rescued, that people had been rescued. Now, when you rescue, in a real rescue, there are two things that will follow. It's either you will see the bodies of the assailants, or you will see
Them being
arrested.
Yes.
Arrests.
Yeah.
But what is the commonality in all these our cases? Yes, we see the people brought back, and then what does that tell you? There's a third way. It means that money has changed hands. Somebody has paid in order for these people to be released. What is the message that that sends?
That it is
That this is a good market. This is a good market.
Yes.
And then when you consider, so this is another part that comes into play, is the fact that we lie to ourselves a lot in this country. So officially, in Nigeria, unemployment is what, 4%, 5%? Why is it 4 or 5%? Because the definition that we're using to define unemployment is 1 hour of work a week. Essentially, what it means is that if so in my estate, I live not far from here. In my estate, I live in a compound where my flat is upstairs. I can come down, my neighbor's son, I can give him, is it 2,000 naira or 3,000 naira to wash my car every Sunday. Just on Sunday.
And he will not be considered unemployed.
1 hour. And according to Nigeria's definition of employment, he's employed. 1 hour out of 168 in a week. So the remaining 167 hours that he's idle doesn't matter. That's 1 hour makes him employed. Nigeria is full of this kind of idle minds. And remember what they say, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Nigeria is full of devil's workshops.
Wow.
So when you have a country full of devil's workshops, and it is clear that there's impunity that is paying off in terms of kidnapping. It's a very lucrative business.
Yeah.
What happens?
You know, there's no time we discuss insecurity that you just don't. We feel it's like we just resign, and you don't know what way you can see out of it. Let's even talk about the common misconceptions. Because of the way Nigeria is wired, or the kind of country that we live in, you know, there's a lot of gaps when it comes to information, that people begin to have misconceptions. If I tell you how many conspiracy theories that I have had to stomach based on insecurity, what do you think are the basic misconceptions that people have about insecurity in Nigeria?
No, we don't have any basic misconceptions about insecurity. We have misconceptions about each other. We don't understand each other in this country. And it leads to poor reactions. It leads to one thing that is very critical is we don't care about each other. We're not a nation. And even, so we're not a nation. Some people will reach for the very simplistic solution of breaking the country up. Even within those little enclaves, we're not a nation. We're not nations. So, practical example, there has been large-scale killings going on in the north for a very long time.
Yes.
We published a report, that's SBM Intelligence, published a report in October 2015, Terror in the Food Basket, where we detailed a lot of this. 2015, October, was 10 years ago and 2 months now, because we're in December. So it's actually 10 years and 2 months ago. And rather than people to understand, if you look at a map of Nigeria, Benue, so let's start with my people, Ndibo. Benue is next door. It's, as in, once you are in 9th Mile, you are practically in Benue. 9th Mile, from 9th Mile, you can trek to OP Junction. And from OP Junction, you better go Benue State. So when that kind of thing is happening, and people don't care about, because Fanchabu there is northern Nigeria, then you have a problem. Because this is what has been happening. These things have been moving, it's cascading.
Yeah.
So those of us sitting in Lagos, on average, we think of your place, Borno, as a very remote side of enclave.
Yeah.
It's at the, as far as you're concerned. See, the insecurity that affects even forget Borno for a brief moment, if that's possible. The insecurity that affects Mali will ultimately come and meet us. Because at the end of the day, somebody can trek from here to Mali, can trek from here to Sudan. It's just a matter of days.
Yes.
That is, but
And determination.
so we need to be able to be our brother's keeper and understand our near abroad. So that thing where you have Nigerians don't understand what is happening in Guinea-Bissau, it also affects us internally, because your average Yoruba man does not understand what is happening in Bauchi.
Yeah.
Your average Igbo man does not understand what is happening in Sokoto. Your average Zamfara man does not understand what's happening in Akwa Ibom. A few days ago, one of the most prominent clerics in northern Nigeria, Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi, died, and he was buried. At least 200,000 people attended his funeral. In Lagos, you could hear
Not
a
a
pin
sound.
drop. Nobody knows. That is on the scale of if and when Enoch Adeboye dies. That's on the scale. So somebody that significant went, and people in the South do not know about it. And then you expect that when they have problems, we will know or we will care.
Let me ask you something. You mentioned Guinea-Bissau, you mentioned Mali, and it makes me think about the armed insurgent groups that we have operating down from the Sahel into Sahara, from the Sahel and the Sahara into northern Nigeria, into other parts of West Africa. What does the data tell us about how organized these groups are? I think it was over the weekend or just late last week, we heard that ISWAP and Boko Haram were fighting, that hundreds of fighters died. And many people think one insurgent group is the same as the next insurgent group. So what does the data tell us about how organized these groups really are, from bandits to kidnappers to armed militias? How many groups is Nigeria even battling with internally? And some of them are breaking off and they're splintering. It is a nonsense mess.
No,
They
it is
splinter from, it's a soup. It's a soup of nonsense. They splinter from ISWAP, they splinter from Boko Haram, they splinter from bandits, we call them terrorists, we call them unknown gunmen, we give so many names, Lakrawa. How many are we dealing with? What's the data on them? Your what?
My favorite is Wulu Wulu.
Yes, I saw that one. I saw it in the research. You don't, how many are there?
So many.
If I answer, I'll be telling a lie. Because as we're speaking, so what has happened is there's franchising going on. There's franchising, there are disagreements. Basically, because of the level of impunity, it is now a sort of like, it's a free-for-all.
Free-for-all market.
So anybody who can have access to weapons can pick up a gun and begin his own franchise. So as of the last counts, there were 23.
20 what?
23.
Internally.
Yes.
How many
as of
states
the
do we
last
have in
counts.
Nigeria?
36. But I mean, it's not an accident that the army is having internal security operations in every single state.
Basically.
So, but again, like I said, as of the last counts, between the last counts and now,
Another would have
new ones
announced
have,
its
have emerged. Oh, by the way, yes, new ones have definitely emerged, because in that last count, Lakwera was not there.
So that would take it to 24.
At a minimum. So, see, again, it all boils down to that impunity that I talked about. The fact that people do nonsense and nothing happens.
No consequence.
Because people do nonsense consistently and nothing happens. And then another very bad one is some people do nonsense and the state comes down on them. It creates a sense of resentment, which leads to more.
Because there's no consistency among the response.
And who am I talking about here? Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
Nnamdi Kanu, he got what he deserved. He should be locked up. And I think it is his best possible sentence, because killing him, executing him would have made him a martyr.
Yes, it's a different situation.
So putting him away for a long time,
Denying him the visibility he craves.
However, acknowledging that does not mean that we cannot acknowledge that in the same week as Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced, a Katsina State, is it commissioner or state member of House of Assembly, a Katsina State official was videoed in a forest talking with bandits. In the same week, some bandits threw a wedding for his child.
It was attended.
And it was attended by government officials.
Hey.
So, you see, you Southerners, una no, Northerners, she knows. So, but you see, again, this is a problem of you middle-class Nigerians. Una no, they know. The lower classes, they know. It's one of the reasons why ordinary president is becoming very popular. Because the lower classes have logged out. And from people like ordinary president, they see a sense of justice, however crude.
Very crude.
Yeah.
So ordinary president is another power center.
But he's a power center born out of a lack of trust and a lack of justice and a lack of consequences
trust,
from the people who are supposed to behold
you
that.
have said everything.
So people like him and others who come on social media who get some kind of justice for ordinary Nigerians are replacing government in people's eyes. They turn to them rather than government.
Tolu, this is what you have just done is past participle. They have replaced.
Oh, sorry.
Wow.
So I'll tell you a story. 8 years ago now, this is 2025, so this was in 2017. Myself and Ikeme Sits, who is our head of research at SBM nowadays, we went on a field trip to Cross River. And we finished our data gathering, all the interviews we were meant to do with a day to spare. But we couldn't get a flight. We had already booked a return flight from Lagos, so we couldn't shift it. So we had one day that were idle, and our field researcher, who based in Cross River, who is still with SBM till today, he said, Oga, there's something that I want you to see. Come with me. And he took us in his car and drove us out of Calabar. At a point, I got scared. He drove us to a place, we started entering forest. And I got scared. I said, has Lawrence decided to kidnap us? We got into a forest, not too far from Ikom. And there was this clearing. And what were we attending? It was a court in the forest, effectively a court. And so people in the communities were bringing
their cases,
their issues to this set of touts. And the one that struck me was there was a woman, and I can't forget her name. She had been brought. They had literally carried her to the courts because she refused. She didn't recognize the authority. Her neighbor, that's why I used the example of two of you fighting, because she and her neighbor had a quarrel. The neighbor reported her to this set of people. She said, "Who are those? I'm not going." So they actually sent people to come and literally physically carry her. Yeah. Now, the trial was very simple. So we, the onlookers, we were standing. Of course, nobody, it's only the judges that were sitting. But we were standing. There was a clearing. The two women that were quarreling were like in the center of the clearing. Then there was a small table, like a bench kind of arrangement. And then you had three judges, in quotes. And it was a very simple procedure. They asked the plaintiff, let's use the legal term because it was a court. They asked the plaintiff, hey, talk your own. And then, when she finished, they asked Erete, that was that woman's name, talk your own. She spoke. Then they turned to the plaintiff, not true she talk. That one, then turned back to Erete, not true she talk. You know, each person had one chance to speak, then one chance to rebut. And then the three judges put their heads together. And then they came up with a verdict. They found, they ruled against the person that brought her neighbor to court. So the one who had initially refused to come, I could see it in her eyes. She saw justice served. And the crowd saw justice served. Now, here are the things from a state formation point of view.
It's a problem.
Those set of thugs
gain credibility.
They gain credibility. B, they put down a judgment. That judgment will need to be enforced. For that judgment to be enforced, they will need levels of violence. Now, in this case, it was a domestic dispute. The two of them would obey willingly. But supposing it's a more complex dispute and they rule, they will need levels of violence to be able to enforce. That is chipping away at the monopoly of violence that the Nigerian state ought to enjoy. And to enforce those, to have that monopoly of violence, they will need money, funds, taxation. So you see how the thing builds from one to the next to the next. They are raising taxes from the people. So, for example, we had a report. This was, I think, 2019 or 2020 about 2021 about farmers in West Nigeria having to pay levies to bandits.
To non-state actors.
Those taxes have become even, because that's what they are effectively, taxes.
Yeah.
They have become even more entrenched. You from Borno, you can tell this story.
Or even for them to leave their community to even sell their products.
Wait, before you ask, because I think data is important, and that's what SBM and Cheta does. So let's talk about some of the data on these situations. So between January 2023 and March 2024, reports by Nextier recorded 5,319 casualties, dead or injured, and 3,110 kidnappings and about 1,500 violent conflict incidents. From July 2024 to June 2025, a study by SBM Intelligence found 4,722 people were abducted nationwide across 997 incidents, with 762 people killed in those abduction-related cases. This is what I really want you to hear. The SBM report estimated that ransom demands were around 48 billion naira in that 12-month span, with actual payments confirmed at 2.57 billion. That is the confirmed payments. There's actually more. And that's why we have Cheta here with us. Lolo, let's go straight into your question.
Honestly, even reading from the data that we're even listening, I'm listening to, I just want to ask Cheta, why is our security evolution slow in comparison to the violence that we're experiencing? I agree. Like, if I'm looking at it from an outsider point of view, all these things happening, I could take my mind back to the time that Jonathan was the president. Similar things. Not really different. Maybe names were different at that time. But
no, scope was different.
Or scope, yeah. But now, it's just like, there are so many similarities.
That's
you
why
can
I said scope.
So why is it that our security intelligence cannot catch up to the violence that we're experiencing on
Do we have the capacity? Do we have
Do
the
we
numbers?
have
It goes to two
capacity,
things.
equipment?
It goes to two things: legitimacy and reason for existence, as the French would say, raison d'être. So basically, the Nigerian security architecture, from the word go, was never set up to protect the Nigerian people. And this is, we're talking of from pre-colonial times, or from colonial times, sorry. The Nigerian security architecture was set up as a tool of oppression, to oppress the Nigerian people and enforce the will of the colonial masters.
And we changed colonial masters for...
When we achieved independence, and I'm always very careful to say independence in quotes, what simply happened was that we changed the people who the security architecture served. So the Nigerian security architecture has always been configured for regime security, not for popular security. So essentially, we've always been on our own. It's just that it has become more glaring now because of the weight of numbers. So one of the things in life generally is when you are going in a cycle, it's a spiral. Each time you go back to the beginning of the cycle, you're actually one level down. So things have gotten worse. So that's just what has been happening. We've been spiraling downwards. So now what has been clear to some people 10 years ago is now clear to everybody. But if you really look at our history, these things have been happening for a long time. After all, it's not in all our lifetimes that Metatsine happened. Metatsine and Boko Haram, is there any difference really?
So, you know, she's talked about security architecture, but there's someone who sits at the top of the security architecture, and that's the president. And he's made several directives in recent times. He has, of course, officially... Let me land. He has officially declared a state of emergency on insecurity. He has also ordered the recruitment of 20,000 additional police officers that would bring the total current recruitment batch to 50,000. There's also be recruitment into the armed forces. The president has also... Cheta, open your eyes. There should always, I'm not done. There should also be recruitment into the armed forces. He's also approved the use of NYSC camps as temporary training depots to fast track the training of recruits. He's also ordered the withdrawal and redeployment of officers currently attached to VIP guard duties and state governments and the National Assembly to begin reviewing laws to allow states to have state police if they're willing. So state police, additional recruitment, declaration of a state of emergency. What do you make of the president's recent directives before we talk about the firearms law? Should I just go to the firearms?
I've answered now.
Do you think Nigerians should bear arms?
Yes.
So you think we should review the law and allow Nigerians to bear arms?
Yes.
The Senate has said responsible Nigerians. You're saying yes.
Who's a responsible Nigerian?
Please, thank you. Please help me
Exactly.
answer
How do we
Who is a
define
responsible Nigerian?
And I say this yes because I've written an article twice called Niayebe, which in Igbo means give us guns. I've written it twice. The first time I wrote it was in 2011. I've actually tried 3 times. The second time was in 2014 and then last year. I will be realistic. If we are all giving guns, there will be carnage on the streets.
Absolutely.
I will be realistic. That's what will happen. But it's not carnage that is happening already.
Yeah.
But it's not happening. It's not happening in the manner in which it can escalate if Nigerians are allowed to bear arms.
It will
She sat in
escalate.
traffic for how long? You will see
Yes.
murders and road rages and disagreements and firings on Lekki Express.
Tolu, I completely agree with you. And then after that initial gra-gra, when half of the population or whatever is dead, then we will now calm down. And the possibility, I completely accept the possibility that in that issue, in that burst of madness, all of us here could be victims.
Absolutely.
So essentially what I'm saying is that this is a cry for help. It's a cry of desperation because every possible solution has failed. We have refused to be honest about what we are and about what needs to be done. So this is a desperate solution. Oh, yeah, give everybody guns, let's duke it out. And that's what I said in those articles. That since we don't want to have honest discussions, let's just duke it because it is patently unfair and unjust for the people of Yelewata to be sitting in their homes, helpless, as armed marauders come in the dead of night and start killing them.
And burning houses.
Burning them as well.
It's patently unjust. At least give them a fighting chance.
Give us a fighting chance.
At the very least. In a sane and organized society, so for example, in America, I would say you don't need, in a country where the law enforcement has gotten a handle of the situation, you don't need everybody to have arms. But Nigeria is the wild, wild west. What was America, what brought about America's right to bear arms? The Wild West.
Well,
that's the stage we are.
Let's talk about what happened on Monday, where governors and traditional rulers from the 19 northern states met in Kaduna to deliberate
I would prefer to talk about what happened on Monday when another set of people were kidnapped.
But they have suggestions. Let's hear the suggestions.
Yeah, so they were expected to carry out a comprehensive review and propose lasting workable solutions, right? So what came at the end of the meeting was an announcement of the creation of a regional security trust fund under which the 19 northern states and their local government areas will contribute a combined 1 billion naira monthly. Now, according to the forum, the fund is to be deducted, at source to confront the escalating banditry, terrorism, and kidnapping ravaging the country. And the governors...
Or pay ransoms.
Yes, I didn't say that. Well, the governors also called on President Bola Tinubu to direct Dele Alake, that's Minister of Solid Minerals Development,
yes, that's interesting,
to immediately suspend all mining activities in the region of 6 months, for 6 months, to enable a comprehensive audit and re-evaluation of, licenses. So, what role do states and local governments play in either worsening or improving situation? Because we've also heard reports that in some communities, especially in Zamfara State, the bandits and also the community members mine together. It's a combined effort for them.
So now we're talking ahead. Please, I beg, let's be serious for a brief moment. These guys are not serious. There's a lot of illegal mining going on. So there's money at the heart of this.
Yeah.
And it's not just, so in Zamfara, for example, it's gold. And so one of the things that frustrates me is all of these things, we have documented them. We've talked about them. So why is it that people are acting surprised? The solution to this thing is not all of this 1 billion naira, this. Provide justice. Let people see equal application of justice. And people will start to take dressing.
You know, this equal application you're talking about, as you talk about gold, I'm just thinking about the oil in the Niger Delta and how the government response seems to be different. So are we not all supposed to share of the solid minerals that are coming out from
Have
the ground?
you forgotten a little thing that was called PAGMI?
Refresh my memory.
Presidential Gold Mining Initiative.
Let's talk about solutions.
So, I don't think that this whole wholesale recruitment that they want to do will solve the problem, because if we cast our mind back, when Obasanjo, so during the military government, the police was systematically underfunded because the military did not want another power center to rival them. Now, when Obasanjo came into office, he was given a report which showed that we had, I think, I don't remember the exact figures, but our police to population ratio was woefully short. So he said that they should recruit, they needed to recruit, I think it was 200,000 policemen urgently. The problem with such things, as always happens in the country, was that it was done in a haphazard manner and people chopped money, and money that should have gone for training was
diverted. And then we also didn't recruit the best we could have, most likely.
Of course.
You've said everything. That's what will happen now.
So
just mass recruitment will not solve the
issue.
problem.
Because corruption is waiting for the mass recruitment.
State
when they want to put money.
State policing in a country where you have 36 mini emperors. State policing in Edo State where Kwebolo is governor.
So there's no time, and this was the last question. I'm going to ask it now, and I don't know if I should ask it, me knowing who you are. But do you... Yes,
she
now.
Said this like a threat.
Because I'm not sure of the answer you're going to give me, because I want to ask if you have any hope that Nigeria can reverse the patterns of violence. But knowing who you are, it's not what gives you hope, is first of all, do you have hope? Before even talking about, is there a light at the tunnel that makes you think that we can reverse this?
I'll give you the answer that you're not expecting. As long as there's life, there's hope. So with human beings, there's always hope. Now, that hope comes from two things. We need to start telling ourselves the truths, because one of the fundamental problems is that we're having very dishonest conversations in the country. And then we need to learn to take ownership. Nigeria, unfortunately, is that abandoned child that everybody wants to come and take from the child, but nobody wants to put into the child. And I'm using child because the old expression, the gender incorrect expression is about women. But bottom line is, that's what Nigeria is. So we need to learn to take some ownership. We need to learn to take some ownership of our country, and we also need to learn to apply the law.
And be seen to be doing justice.
In short, I will quote Tamani or Tamani Hall from America in the mid-19th century. More important than justice being done is the appearance of justice being done. And this, for me, this speaks to the quality of our elites. Tamani in his time was the MC Oluomo of his day, yet he understood this. Does the Nigerian elite understand this?
It's not me that's going to answer that. We're leaving. It's a lot. And as Cheta said, even as we hear from the northern governors, we hear from the presidency, we are still hearing of attacks on literally a daily basis, or attempts at attack. The FCT said that they neutralized an attempted attack yesterday, showing the bodies of those who were neutralized. But in that same time, we're also hearing of successful attacks and abductions happening across parts of the country. It's not a solution. It's not a one-day solution for something that has grown over the decades. But justice and the appearance of justice can start to put Nigeria on the right path. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
What?